Welcome to the Big Cheese Podcast. Today is Monday, May 4th, 2026. No, it's not Monday.
It's Thursday.
It's Thursday.
Welcome
Why
to
does it say Monday? It says Monday.
It does. Welcome to the ADHD podcast, where time has no meaning.
My Apple Watch thinks it's Monday. So Brandon and I are here.
Yes.
But we also have a special guest today, which is very excited. And it's Jason Eggert.
Jason Eggert. And Jason, so it's funny. I love every time we have these meetings. Then I kind of go through and I'm like, how long have we known each other? And it was, you said 2010. It was fifth gear. Was it Sigma then or fifth gear?
It was just turned to fifth gear.
That's right.
I remember coming in to interview and I saw you and Patrick ripping cigs on the back door. And I was like, I want to work with these guys.
Oh, that's right. That's right. And that was amazing. And then we also made it to Fusion Alliance.
Yeah.
For a little while. Was there any overlap? Or was
No,
it just,
I think I missed you by a
right,
week.
That's right. I went with Patrick and I went to there and then you dipped. So anyway, we'll switch the camera and this is Jacob, or Jesus Christ.
It's Jason Eggert.
Jason Eggert.
Principal software engineer, which
Yes.
is awesome because that's what we are.
No, so one of my favorite things about Jason, and I was always so impressed with this, and I don't know if you can still do it because again we haven't talked as much as we used to, but you had the most amazing ability to read something, deduce it down to kind of an essence, and then be able to spit it back out like you knew it back and forth. And regardless if you actually knew it back and forth, but you presented so damn well that it always impressed me. It always blew me away. Like you did such a damn good job, and that's why, like, yeah. So it's very skilled at the ability to break complicated shit down and turn it into something that you're like, okay, I get this and I can explain it. So
Yeah, I think it's classic 80-20. 80% of the time I get it, and then 20% of the time I got the bullshitting genes from my dad, and pretty good at that too.
Well, that specific skill is very helpful in the world of AI,
okay,
right? Because what we're doing is we're breaking down problems. We're trying to communicate what we want. We're not just writing code or solving some algorithm, right? It's a communication.
Do you find
problem.
So let's actually double click, and as you can tell, we have no fucking format for this podcast. We just kind of jump in, we grab our surfboards, and we go. With that, so for me, if you've ever heard me, I yell and I scream at AI constantly. How do you? What's your emotional attachment to? What's your attachment style to AI?
Yeah, so when I was an early adopter a few years ago using just like Copilot,
Right.
a lot of angry conversations and cursing at it.
Right.
I did a stint as a product manager years ago. I spent about 4 years in product, and I think that's really helped. So now I approach it with actually like a document and not just sort of like a vague prompt on like, oh, I need to do X, Y, Z.
Right.
And I think that guides it enough that I don't have to get mad at it so much. One thing I'm noticing is it's not going on its own and doing extra shit when I do that. Constraints are always a part of that document too. Right. And I think telling it what not to do.
This is your product requirements document that you we were
it's sort
just
of half
talking
a
about
PRD,
beforehand.
half an implementation doc.
Right.
I usually just start that in Markdown as like terse notes and actually work with like a chat interface to help build that up before I even go to like the coding agent. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, there's this workflow that I think works really well, regardless of what tool you're using, where it starts with that PRD. It starts with an idea and focusing on honing that in. And you can use tools, like I'll use tools to create that. I'll even be in the code and have a little bit of context, but I do like either the concept of the PRD becoming something that you not just turn directly into code, but you might go, okay, here's the PRD. Now, hey, Claude, take a look at this PRD and let's create a technical implementation guide. And then that's what gets fed into the actual coding process. But I guess the thing that's kind of lost is that's not really vibe coding in my opinion at all. That's how we're getting it done in the real world kind of stuff.
So I don't know. It feels that vibe coding as the initial term that when we defined it, however long ago this has been now, fucking 1,000 years, is not right anymore.
No, it's almost becoming It's almost becoming malpractice in some ways. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I think that
Right.
people were, when Karpathy coined it, he was talking about a flow state. He wasn't really talking about like an actual like concept that
Right.
he thought was going to be something that ended up working.
Okay, but to dip into that, the idea of it being a flow state, that is still completely viable.
Yeah.
Like you can absolutely get into a flow state. Yes, my flow state might be like, hey, go do this, and then it starts doing it, and I get to go watch, Hell's Kitchen.
Right.
And that's awesome. That's great. And then I come back when it tells me it's done, and I'm there. But so maybe vibe code, maybe what we need to do is we need to remove the negative notations to vibe coding and just realize that that's kind of, it's better than AI augmented developers.
Well, yeah, Karpathy, today there was a Medium article where he like regrets that term and he's like trying to pivot
Oh,
to
there you go.
agentic
I don't-
there you go.
development.
No, but you
Yeah.
can't. So, but you can't. So it's
Yeah.
like it's now part of our codex. Like it is.
Well,
it is the term.
And think about the impact of what he did and what he said. And it's been over a year now. So it's been about 14, almost 15 months since he coined that term. That was the end of January, which that spawned an entire year of my life.
Right.
Professionally, we did the vibe coding competition. We did. I mean, we literally were all in on that.
100%.
Right.
Yeah.
But now he's coming back and he's saying there's regret there. And I think the regret is real because like, obviously like lack of constraint has caused people to think that anyone's a software developer, you can just let it loose. And now we have, security problems. We have,
But that's the innovator's dilemma. Like
Yeah,
again,
true.
like so GIF. Fuck you off. It's called a GIF. I don't care.
I have
what,
never called it a GIF.
No,
bro.
never. And so the guy
Is that the official explanation?
I'm Team GIF.
Yeah, no, because you're
GIF?
wrong, and you're only wrong because you agree with the guy who created it and not the cultural. The cultural phenomenon with it.
okay, I see where
right.
you're going.
And so what happens is that somebody, I'm like, I created the term vibe coding, and now the world takes it and be like, well, that's not what I meant. It's like it doesn't fucking matter.
No,
man.
that's what I've said. Like it was almost like saying like that's the danger of what like he was in a position of influence and said something that people took very seriously, and there's implications.
Yeah, but all he really did was just give it a label. We all were going to do it no matter what. Like it was going to happen.
Again, like anything else, there's like a spectrum. Like if you've been a developer for like 17 years and
Right.
taken your licks, your vibe coding's gonna be a lot better.
Yeah.
Than like, but I think like a product manager might make a good POC to like show the developers what they actually want, but like don't ship that.
Right. Yeah. The don't ship that thing has kind of come back to bite some people in the ass.
Absolutely. So this is one thing that I've decided I'm going to be doing, and for my company is I'm just setting up a 30-minute and a 60-minute review of you built an AI fucking product, and now you don't know what the fuck to do, because I can't tell you how many times I just get people be like, yo, I just built this thing. Can you go check it out? And I go in and I'm like, well, here's some things, and here's how you could. Most of them are completely new, never developed anything, and it's like they don't necessarily know how do you. It's that 0 to 8.5 they get there really quick, but how do you actually get them over that next 25% or fucking 15%? My math.
Well, and there's an adoption curve. Like I've been, and I have two stories that I wanted to share.
Yeah.
And one of them is deeper than the other, same company, but there's an adoption curve within software teams, and I'm like, oh, really? Okay. Like where they're like, hey, you're responsible for your pull requests. Like you need to take ownership of this. This is going to get reviewed. Like you own, if this gets in there, you own this. So, blah, blah. And that some of those teams are still almost like doing like code completion.
Yeah.
Type of stuff. They're not really doing that PRD technical and then implementation, like large chunks, or having, Claude introspect their ticket, or they're, you know what I mean? They're just kind of coding and then like kind of using AI.
Yeah.
And, and I'm like, that's not me. I'm not doing that because I need to get shit done.
I'm leaning in, baby.
And so I think that there's this big, kind of who's going to take on the risk kind of thing going on with developers versus the product people. Are like, how much do we want to really dive in here and just say, hey, we're gonna create this agentic software factory.
So I have one of my clients, big insurance client. Stop it. But again, have embraced AI. Like has absolutely embraced AI, But what's funny is you find some people are like, we're doing this with AI, and then some people are like, I'm kind of doing this with AI, and you're like, no, you're not. I can tell you're fucking not. And it's fascinating because we've got thrown into this project. It's got to be insanely fast. I mean, like a week's delivery. Like this company has never built anything in a week. And now all of a sudden we have this like AI velocity expectation that they're like, I think you guys can get this done in a week. Now I like the pressure, right? But these guys are not used to this level of pressure, except for the ones who are like, oh, I've got Claude Code access. Yeah, fine, throw it at me. And we have this one guy who is just like, yeah, whatever you throw at me, I'm just going to go Claude Code. I'm going to work through it. Then we have another guy you can tell is not using AI at all. And he was the sludge of the project. He slowed it down. Everything was slow. And so I'm kind of curious with you, because now you've obviously worked in a bunch of different startups and whatnot. But I'm kind of curious, like, are you seeing a similar thing in terms of like this? It's almost like a caste. It's like a caste system starting to form.
Yeah. And so like I even remember at the start, I was a little reticent to like start using it too much.
Yeah.
Because I was like, and it's almost, there was like a stigma.
Right.
And it's like, oh, I'm not like a craftsman anymore.
Yeah.
Or something was the feeling. But the productivity levels are just apparent.
Exactly. And if you were fast before.
Yeah, I was always pretty fast before too. And now I'm, like
really 1,000 times faster.
Yeah.
So I think that the proven thing that we've talked about probably ad nauseum in this podcast is that you can be more productive with AI writing code.
Sure.
But there's this other thing, and this is like kind of my rant or something I wanted to talk to you about with you guys. There's this other angle, which is two things. CEOs and companies coming to people like us and saying, we need to be using AI to like do this big thing. Not to like, they don't even know that Codex exists. They don't even know Claude, you know what I mean?
Right.
They're just like, AI is the black box.
Yeah.
Right. And then there's these companies that are pivoting their software to AI.
Yeah.
And what I kind of had this like horror, like story experience, and I wouldn't even go all the way to say horror story experience, but where traditional deterministic software has been pivoted into this like AI as a black box, or a business has turned to AI in terms of AI as a black box solution for this problem, where I'm not necessarily like doing what we know works, which is I'm going to use AI to be a better version of me.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Right. Where now they're saying like, we just need to throw all of our problems at this thing and see what comes back.
It reminds me a lot when everybody's like, well, we need to do something blockchain in like
Exactly.
2019, 18.
Exactly.
And I was like, why do you need to append only database anything in your company? And so like, yeah, I think that's two different viewpoints. Like you can come in knowing what it is.
Right.
And like I said, constraints and whatnot. And then if you even like write your features that use AI mindfully, it's less of like just throwing a probabilistic black box in there. You know, it'll help out that feature,
100%.
but you can guardrail it a little bit. But it's just like a buzzword to a lot of people. And they're just like, oh, we need, because I go into a bunch of apps that are like now AI powered. And it's like, why wouldn't I just use one of the existing chat interface? I don't need it in an
And
Adobe
there's
app
no, you're writing yourself out of existence in that world. Okay. So if everything that you did deterministically with algorithms, with your data, you know, sure, you might have a data moat, but they're not even approaching it that way. They're saying, you know, I really don't want to do that. I don't really want to build this plot. I just want AI to solve my problem.
Yeah, right.
And there are in the market, I think what's happening is, and you guys tell me if I'm wrong, but the market is pushing the narrative that this is going to solve all your problems.
Oh,
that there's
totally.
This AGI kind of concept coming into play where we don't need your software developer. We don't need you. We're just going to eventually get to the point where you just throw the thing in there and it comes back with an answer. And unfortunately, this transactional, you're talking about adjudicating, you're talking about reviewing like policies, you're talking about shit, you're talking about that, going to face prosecution and going in front of a judge. Like there's these deterministic things that are based off rules and data
Right.
that are now being pivoted to a reasoning model. And that fucking scares me.
Yeah, it's just a guessing engine at the end of the day. That's all it is. And so are you going to like these foundational things you need, like the energy grid and things like that? Right. Are you going to give it to as like, I'm going to guess on a bunch of multidimensional vectors is what I'm going to do?
Okay, so
and so no, that's such a good point. Like, okay, so something as critical as the nuke codes, you know, where the energy goes. No, that can't be done.
Right.
If you do that, something bad is going to happen. Right. But I think there's a reason the market's pushing for these things because they want no friction.
Well, they want their money.
They want their money. They want no friction. And you're right. And they're building up that. Go ahead.
But I think what's going to happen too is we're going to get like Uber or Netflix with this stuff though too.
Right.
And I don't know if you've talked about that on here, but like the Claude subscriptions, like you're getting like millions of free tokens on those right now. And like, when is that bill going to come due?
It's starting.
Yeah.
I mean, it really is.
And then like
starting.
hiring like 6 more developers is probably better than like having 2 token maxing all the time. A lot of companies are already seeing that. Like they're like, we're paying $13,000 extra a month.
So kind of, and that's
we
where
should hire 6 more people and like limit and actually like be thoughtful about our inputs to the product before we start going.
And that's what we were talking about earlier, is those inputs are super important.
But here's the thing is once a company goes and they all of a sudden realize that they're spending $150,000 a month on AI, it doesn't get very far to say, hey guys, how much does it cost for us just to set up, 48 100s in our network and just running, Kimi or running whatever other models that we can run in-house and not be relying on it and get us to even at 85% of the quality. Yes, you might have to use your fucking human ingenuity and actually solve some goddamn problems. But what we're doing is we're constantly, like every goddamn week, a new version of ChatGPT is coming out, a new version of Opus is coming out, a new version of this. And they're always trying to get us to pull back into this fucking world and be like, oh, now look how much smarter it is. Again, some of these open source models are as good as 3.5 was. And if we all can kind of go back even just 2.5 fucking years and remember how goddamn impressed we were with 3.5 and the magic it can do, if we would use it today in relation, we'd be like, this thing's stupid as shit. It's still very functional. So I think we're going to go through this high of be like, okay, if you need this level of reasoning for your problems, most likely you haven't actually tried to really break down your fucking problem. Yeah. Right.
But that's the thing, man. That's the thing that's happening is people are just looking for this easy answer to a problem they can't even articulate.
Exactly.
I got a question this week from a client that was outed themselves as not even understanding their own business. They were like, how can we use AI in our data strategy to unlock the value of our data? We have no idea the value of our data.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, you worked here for 10 years. You know everything that's in your data.
Right.
Like what do you think AI is going to magically do for you to tell you how it's just going to go to the general chat? It's just going to be like, oh, your data is really great. I think it's really valuable.
Having it create the question for you seems like a cop out. Like you should it could answer like a hard question, but like you need to do some cycles in the human brain to come up with a salient question. Right.
If you can't, if your answer is what questions should we be asking in the first place?
Yeah, exactly. No. You need to understand your fucking business. Let me ask though, in what areas have you felt that using AI has made you stupider?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think like going back and typing some code now, I'd probably be slower than I was before.
Me too, 100%. I would be.
Because it used to be just muscle memory sort of ingrained, and now like it's been years a bit removed.
Dude, I'm
scared of that.
I know. Me too.
I haven't written a line of code in a year.
Jacob, what about you? Do you have a mic? Oh, fuck. Never mind. He doesn't exist.
He feels, I guarantee he feels the same way.
Right.
But I haven't written a line of code in a year.
So I still write code.
I know you do.
But
you nerd.
But I know, but it's only because like I get so sick of yelling at it. I'm just like, I just need this fucking background color to be this. Stop fucking with me. And so, but it's still very like just laser focused. Get in, solve the problem, get the fuck back out. I don't like being in the code, and it is it's freaking me out. But again, at some point I've got to age out. I'm fucking 50 now. So I've got to at some point.
But don't you feel like, because I don't feel like I'm not coding, because I look at every single pull request.
I'm
I look at
a
every
way better reviewer.
Yeah. I'm
agreed.
still looking at code all the time.
And we're still producing. So we're still creating. So we still get the end result. Again, I only got into programming because I wanted to build shit. It wasn't because I like to program. And so I still get all the dopamine hits from building the stuff. But at the same time, I do feel like I'm just I don't think oh my God. I mean, this is such a much better coder than I was. Never a very good coder. I was a creative coder, but I wasn't a good coder. And so
You're
now
a very good coder.
No, but I can now go and I watched the AI dude, this Angular stuff that I was doing. I'm like, oh my God, my Angular was garbage.
Well, actually, I have a question. I have a question for both you guys, and I'll start with you, Jason. What technologies? This is a little bit more specific than we usually get. What tech have you seen be really good in terms of AI being really good at leveraging it? Like any framework or any specific library or tool or programming language? What have you seen like that absolutely Claude or Codex absolutely rips, and then maybe one that doesn't, and is a different, you know what I mean?
Well, even to your point, I was working a few years ago in an Angular database, and it was probably some earlier models too, but it really struggled with getting that right because two-way bindings and things like that. I think it struggled with.
Yeah.
Next.js with Postgres, it just seems to really rock and rip at that.
Right. There's so many open source projects that were built that way, and I think that's what. There's just not that many open source Angular projects.
That's right? It's probably a training issue, right?
Exactly.
So you talk about Next.js, which is one of the most widely documented JavaScript frameworks that latches onto AI really well.
Right.
Yeah, and you've seen kind of a convergence of technologies that people are using because it gets suggested by AI,
right.
But also it's just really good at writing. Is that a good thing?
No, I think it's a self-reinforcing thing. So I think no new languages come out. No new languages get adopted. Because to get adoption, you have to have humans to basically be able to use it, to write the documentation that gets consumed and all that. So I just don't think we see new languages. I think Rust might be one of the last.
Did you see that TypeScript's being rewritten in Rust?
Oh, that would make sense. I mean, again,
at least the compiler.
Sure, exactly.
I don't even know how that's possible, but I read half an article and I was like,
oh no. Again, Rust is amazing. So I've now vibe coded a couple things with Rust. And AI, and this was now probably a year ago. But AI was really, really good at it. And
it was good at Rust.
Oh yeah, phenomenal,
Nice.
phenomenal. So
and Rust enables WASM.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. So you can take WASM and you can basically have it output these damn near C-level speeds, applications. And so I liked Rust. Again, I couldn't write it myself. That was the first one that that and a Swift thing that I built. That there was shit.
You got to do memory allocation by hand.
Exactly. Well, you're borrowing and you're passing things on. No.
I got into Rust and I was I don't know what that is.
Never mind.
But you mentioned another technology that I want to elevate on this podcast is SwiftUI.
You're right.
It is rips.
Okay, so
with
yes.
Claude.
So this is an interesting thing that you've been doing some coding with an iOS application. And basically what I'm understanding is you basically have Xcode open here, over here, then you bring up Claude Code and go to the folder and you just basically say, here's what we're building. And you're just,
Claude Code's doing the whole thing.
So you're not doing any of the does OpenAI has a
no? There's a plugin
Xcode.
for Xcode, and I actually use it sometimes.
Okay.
But you just sign in with your Claude account, and it's a sidebar
it's
little
Claude.
chat.
It's Claude.
You can sign in.
Shit.
You can sign in with multiple providers.
Ooh.
So you can sign in with OpenAI or Claude.
Okay.
But it provides a chat-based interface inside of Xcode. One thing that I noticed was that I gave it the same problem in Claude Code and in the little sidebar dealie they built. And the one that was in Xcode did a better job.
No shit.
I think
That's surprising.
More context wrap around it somehow.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's I think there's some pre-prompting going on. I think there's
some RAG with the documents or some documentation.
Probably.
And something like that.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I think that there's some stuff in there that made it really, but there was a huge miss inside of it. What do you always think you would get out of an integrated IDE based I guess, assistant, what do you think you would get and that you didn't get that I was completely dumbfounded by?
A good UI.
No attachment to the logs at all.
No kidding.
So if I was like, hey, check the logs. No, I don't have the ability to do that. I'm like, well, shit. How? I mean, it would have taken them 1 second to bridge the Xcode debugger to the thing, and it would just
I'll peel off and write that tool. So I could get through
Give it to it.
Seriously,
right.
like I'm okay. I will continue to copy and paste from the fucking logs over to the chat window, even though you're integrated into Xcode. You should totally be able to do that.
Figma's APIs do not give you access to the comments.
Yeah, I don't know if Figma's going to last. Either.
So yeah, I totally 100% agree, 100%. But I will say that So we have a huge Figma document for my one client, and I'm pretty much just in there. And we have 2 meetings a week where we go through, we talk about designs, and we kind of like do these live coding things. But as I sit back, there's probably no real reason that we couldn't just be vibing.
Multiple problems. You're building a design to what? Maximize a good outcome in terms of the user experience, but also to become more efficient in the development handoff and the development process. That's not true anymore.
Right.
No,
It's
especially
not.
with those bloats on that. Like, I think a lot of people just have bag of Figma hygiene where, like, I had one. I was like, my MCP can't even ingest
No,
this.
no,
Exactly.
dude,
Exactly.
100%. Not every Figma document's created equal. The other thing is that I think that where Figma is still very valuable is if you have like a custom design system, and it's got all the tokens from that.
I know, but
once you have it in there,
Yes.
I would not even do anything in Figma. I would just have I would have some markdown files.
Right.
I would have the design system obviously implemented, and I would have the technical implementation analysis from the PRD, like talk about the UI, and then I would just see what comes up with, and then iterate from there.
I'm in there. So right now I am trying to basically come up with a markdown document that can describe the new insurance company's design language, which came from a pretty high-end ad agency. So it's unique. It's not there's color combinations that you wouldn't traditionally see. And so basically saying, okay, here's all of the information that I've got, and then I'll go generate it. And it's still not there.
And here's the other thing. And Jacob brought this up today. We were talking. He was like, man, I gave 2 projects. One was Raw Dog. One was Shad CN.
Yeah.
Which one do you think absolutely
Shad
ripped?
CN.
It ripped.
It ripped.
Yeah,
Because
I use Mantine and some things too, and like that's so well documented, it rips at that. But if you try to do like a custom one, it's like
You are only the second person in my life that has name dropped Mantine.
I've never heard of it.
Yeah, exactly.
What is it?
It's Angular, or it's not Angular. It's a material. It's material based design, and it's all
I'm using the
React.
one, they might have different flavors.
I think it's
but I'm
all.
always
Yeah,
in
I think it's all
React.
React. So Theraproof uses Mantine.
Oh, that looks nice.
Yeah, and so again, it's a super. It's a very complete,
Pretty
design
complete bare
language.
bones. You sort of
Right.
design it yourself.
Right.
It's sort of like Shad CN's like that. If I'm familiar.
Well, and
with
that's just like almost token savings at this point, right?
Yeah.
So you're like,
Right.
okay, what do I need to spend my tokens on? Do I need to spend my tokens on how to build a drop-down menu?
Yeah.
I'm not sure I should.
So you should what you should really probably do is you basically take Shad CN, you take Mantine, you customize it in the proper way. You don't fucking override everything with importance like everybody tends to do.
Yeah.
You actually go customize it in the proper way, and then you just let your AI just build out the components. It knows it's got buttons, it's got columns, it's got sidebars,
And then
it's got all that
start
shit.
some sort of reinforcement learning in the process.
Right.
It's like, hey, next time remember that our search bars always go full width,
exactly.
above the content.
Right.
Our buttons are we never have more than a primary. Something.
Exactly.
Yeah,
No,
and like stuff
exactly.
like that should go in like your Claude settings or
Yes.
like
Right.
an Agent MD
Right.
file. Because I found a lot like the more thorough you are with those,
Right.
the way less pain you're going to have in working in whatever code base you're going to have.
Yeah.
And let's be honest, the reason why we're even talking about this is because you have all these people involved, right? You get, okay, let's plan this out. Okay, we're going to give it to the designer. Designer's working on multiple projects. They're going to finish that. Then they're going to hand it off to the developer. All this stuff, and it's just like, when are we going to write the code?
It's exactly, and it has to. It's going to start where Product owner basically says, here's what I want. Designer is going to be like, hey, here's what I generated. Go tell me what you think, and then be like, all right, developers, here's what we've got. And it's using the design language, it's using all the tokens, it's using all of the different things we've already agreed upon. We have a whole contract that we agree upon from the very beginning of product all the way to delivery. And that's the panacea. That's like where like this will be the tits when it actually fucking works. But we're just not there yet.
Yeah, I think I'm lucky since I started my career as a designer.
Right.
Was an engineer, hopped to product, and now, like, you can just have me.
I was just going to say, like, I don't want to
do all these things way quicker because there's not all that friction of like
the people arguing
and all
that.
I think you need two people, and I think,
or multiple personalities.
Yeah,
like
well, that's true. Yeah. I think you need let's say the person that understands the business domain. They're not included. Okay, they're going to help us get context. They're going to help us with understanding the business problem. Then we are going to translate that to the PRD.
Sure.
We're gonna translate that to the technical implementation thing, and we're going to do like the full stack software dev thing.
Right.
Now,
we can tell you how to deploy it too.
Yeah, with all the DevOps. I think that there's in this new world where they're asking us to do stuff with AI. I think there's this other person. Though it's the AI engineer. It's the person that understands like the whole ingestion to like, to all the way to like we're doing something in terms of AI is actually deployed inside the product and making.
Yeah, and I think there'll be like somebody like managing the cost of it eventually too. They're like, this is how you do it without spending $1 billion.
Because a lot of, and like with your insurance client, like it's not just software. Like you have an ingestion pipeline. You're vectorizing. You're you know what I mean. You're like oh okay, well it's a bunch of PDFs, so I gotta figure out how to like parse it really quick. Like to your point, like it needs to be token optimized. I need to know, and then AI is going to come out with some sort of output, right? And then like, oh, it's right, it's wrong, and then I reinforce it. Like that's a skill.
Yeah.
And like honestly, like I'm okay if that skill that isn't me. Like I'm a boomer at this point in the software world. All these young kids, they don't want to build React and do all this. No. They're like, I'm AI. I do the AI thing. And I'm like, cool, come on. So I feel like that I don't know. You know what I mean? Like the traditional software developer interface
the new
guy.
Breed. So there's our one mutual friend that we have that drives me fucking bonkers. He is that new breed. I'm not going to drop his name because I'm trying to just not pretend. Anyway. But he is that new breed of developer. Like, and it's people who don't necessarily have any expertise in any of this, and it freaks us all the fuck out. And it's dangerous and it's scary, but at the same time, if you're going to help somebody become the next version of it, you have to let them fucking release some dog shit and get the burns and get the
it's
cuts
like
and all
that.
that.
You got to take licks.
Exactly,
yeah,
exactly.
Take licks.
And so for me, just sitting there being like, you guys are fucking wrong, is not the answer. Like it's like, go forth, my young friends, and shit the bed, and then come back and we'll be like, all right, now you understand why we do this, this, and this.
Let's be honest. The architecture for your average SaaS application has been mastered.
Thanks, producer. Sorry,
I think you made more noise than he did. The architecture for the average SaaS app has been mastered. Right?
Yeah,
it has.
Sure.
But what hasn't been mastered is all that new shit that people are trying to do.
Yes.
Right?
But and then I'm wondering when that comes into the SaaS app. Like we have these static UIs. When do those become probabilistic? Because you log in and they're like, he did this the last 12 times. His profile looks like this.
Dude, okay.
Here's the UI he gets that's probabilistic instead of what the designer created,
But go on with that whole conversation about the probabilistic, because the UI is changing. UI is going to be a dynamic experience, and it's not going to be static.
Yeah.
Sorry.
What are you doing?
On that? I wanted to capture it.
I think we are capturing.
Are we still going? I didn't know what was going on. I thought you pressed pause or something.
No, and apologize for me.
Brandon has lost his mind, folks.
Oh, that was like I said, I've known since 2010.
So let me tee this up. This is actually really good. So I was talking about the traditional application. You log in, you see your dashboard, blah, blah, blah. Maybe it's got some feature flags or it's got some things hidden and shown. You're talking about like an AI-driven probabilistic experience. Expand on that.
Yeah, so right now, your user role might show you what dashboard it has in there, but that's still deterministic, right?
Right.
So I think the future is, and everybody's like, oh, the future is going to be a chat interface, but like people don't want that. They still want like bright colors and like numbers.
Not
and
everything
things.
will be a chat interface.
Yeah, exactly. So I think what you're gonna see happening, and I'll sort of liken it to like when the iPhone came out. I hated typing on glass, but then like the contextual keyboards really helped the interface on like the job to be done. I think we're going to log into apps, and it's going to take whatever data we have in a vector database, put on top of a model. So like, what did you do the last 12 times you were in here? What does your profile look like? What are your user flows?
Can it please fix Google Analytics?
Yeah, I'm reading your email, and I know that these are the top of mind things just from like the high importance emails you got recently, and then it will on the fly at runtime build that UI for you. That's like what we should be striving to get to, I think, because I think static UIs are sort of like old school.
I agree and I disagree. Okay, so here's where I disagree. I disagree that the chat UI. So I think the chat UI is going to be the new interface.
There's not enough dopamine hit for humans.
No. But here's the thing: is right now when we're thinking about chat UIs, we're thinking about just text responses, right?
Okay.
So now all of a sudden a response comes back. Think of like the Facebook Marketplace, where all of a sudden they just start adding a couple buttons. These are going to become entire components that can be expanded, can be whatever, and that the chat is just delivering the user experience.
Yeah, but wouldn't the next step be, like we were talking about the laziness that AI causes, is like, I don't even want to have to type in what I want to do. You should know that.
Well, but when you have the chat interface, then that almost inherently translates to voice. And so now, as long as I kind of maintain this concept of input and output, and it's only that, input and output, now I can translate it to voice, and I don't know how much you do voice conversations with your AI.
Yeah, my ChatGPT's British accent.
Exactly.
Have you guys?
Friend.
Do you guys have
Me too.
Do you guys have an Apple TV? Anybody?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Does it ever pan to like your photos and your memories?
Sure.
On the screensaver.
Yeah.
And you're like, I forgot about that.
Right.
Right. That's kind of what I like about your concept, which is like, I might just be passively presenting you with random shit that you might care about.
Yeah.
As you go throughout your day
right.
as a software solution.
Right.
Right. Mm-hmm. Like the problem with I agree with, like, obviously chat has, like, especially Claude and OpenAI figured this out, is like inside of your conversation, you're going to be presented with not just text responses or image responses, but like entire UIs. Sure. I get that.
Right.
But I also think that that's a thread. Right.
It
and
is.
I think that there's more capabilities with UI that we haven't seen yet, which is really cool.
Yeah, 1,000%. No, the people are going to do some batshit crazy things. However, kind of going back to where we've over-optimized, if you think everything that we've just covered in this entire last 45 minutes, guess what it's been? A fucking chat. That's it. Yeah. It's just been a fucking chat. And when a manager is talking to their employee, or their manager's emailing their employee, when the manager's doing it, almost every single fucking thing that we do is just words to words. And then every once in a while, I got to go in and I got to put some pixels around. I got to do this. I got to do this. So there's always going to be cases where I need to get into the UI. But eventually, why would I not just be waking up in the morning being like, hey, I'm not going to say it because it's going to set everybody's thing off, but hey, what's going on today? And it should just be like, here's exactly what's happening. And they're like, well, tell me about this. Let's delve into it.
So this is something I think I talked to you about this, and I talked to Jay. I've talked to 3 people about this, but like what you brought up, I think, is something that no one has really mastered, which is what is happening, right? What is happening?
Yeah.
And so, like, for companies and even for software, 2 things. Things are happening.
All the time.
And so what do? You transact analytics, you have people documenting tickets, you have pull requests, you have deployments, you have all this data. Well, now we have this like thin layer that we're using as an API to do all of our work. So everybody that's on Claude Code, right, on my team, there has to be this thin memory layer that connects us all together and provides a common stream that creates value.
Right. Our corporate brain.
And guess what? So we talked about that last week, multiple, I wish I knew the names of them. I have them on my Twitter bookmarks. I'll look them up while you guys are talking. But there's been multiple GitHub repos and products that have been released or publicized in the last week.
Wait. One of them's some Russian actress. What's her name? She's
Mila Jovovich from Resident Evil.
Exactly.
Movies, yeah.
She released a new memory model AI thing, and I think that's where it needs to ultimately go. Is that I want to control my memories. I want my memories to be transplanted across OpenAI. I want it to be Claude Code. I don't want one of these fucking organizations, and they're going to do it. Capitalistic organizations inherently want to own all of this, but how do we ensure that they don't? That's the bitch of this.
And then my mind went to when you can craft an experience at runtime or on the fly for a person, how much worse does like the echo chamberism of like division and stuff get? When
for sure.
It's not just your social media. It's your like base experience and your business apps and everything's doing that to you.
It's just confirming your own biases.
Yeah, exactly.
Dude, it's crazy. So Grok is I do not know how Grok hasn't gotten sued yet. I think Grok is going to get sued because you can go to Grok right now and have a voice conversation with it, and that thing will go as nasty as you want. You can be like, hey, I want to smoke meth and jerk off to you. I know that just went hard, and I apologize. I don't control the words that come out of my mouth. However, what I'm saying is that thing's going to be like, I want you to take a huge rip of meth and keep doing it and keep. I mean, like there's no guardrails on this thing whatsoever. And some kid's going to do this, and they're gonna asphyxiate themselves. They're going to do something crazy, and they're going to get sued out of oblivion. So it's kind of crazy where yes, AI can very well make people who are not attuned to what they're interacting with. There's probably going to be a whole lot of what's it called when you just lose your fucking mind.
Psychosis.
It's psychosis because of this. I mean, and that part's scary as hell.
So one of the products was actually open source. It's called Subspace. Run Claude Code, Codex, Open Code, and a more lightning fast keyboard first Mac app with shared memory, docs, browsers, terminals, and instant search. So it is a desktop app that's containing the terminal.
And what's it called?
It's called Subspace. But that's the layer that I think is not everyone's building it for you and and me. But I want it to be built for everybody on the team, everyone in the company, and that's where Claude Code or Claude becomes. And Jacob's, you've done this right with projects, and like Jacob is our resident Claude implementation at our org, right? So we have projects, we have co-work, he's got co-work doing all, and that should be like contributing to a shared memory model, 100%. Which creates a big moat for them.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Oh, totally.
But
no, that needs to be portable. That's the thing, man. The memories have to be portable.
And these memories aren't complicated. You're talking about markdown files. I'm talking about markdown files.
Exactly. Yeah. It's literally just text.
That seems to be
honestly, it should have just been built into Claude Code. Why the fuck is it so stupid and always forget?
I know.
Like, why would you? I'm on this folder. In this, I have to literally and I don't have a lot of I'm sure there's better plugins for this that are opt-in, whatever. But I'm like, hey, make sure you remember this. Okay, sure. I've recorded this memory. And I'm like, okay, I hope you did a good, now it's documented in a pull request, it's documented here, but I don't know. I mean, I think shared organizational memory is just something I'm super interested in right now. And it's that tribal knowledge thing. So like, I mean, what used to happen in an organization? Like company you work at, you leave.
Yeah.
What happens?
Oh, yeah.
Knowledge loss.
Oh, yeah. All of it. No, there's no reason why. Now, you can go and be like, hey, I want you to write me a synopsis of my memories. And it will generate you a document. Now, it's never very good because it only goes as deep as it can because that's why the memory's there so it can like pinpoint it. It's like, I can't just give you a whole dump of the memory. But yeah, the memory thing is going to be a very important thing, and who controls it is going to win. And so that's why, again, I think that we have to continue to support and promote these open source things, because now that we're going to have AI, open source can actually start to work more realistically because people can nerd out a bit and let AI do the nerding, and they don't need to worry about it as much. Like before, if you tell somebody who wasn't that technical, hey, go set up an N8N server, they're like, I don't know what to do. But now if they have Claude Desktop, be like, yo, set me up an N8N server. And guess what? They've got one running on their local machine literally in 10 fucking minutes.
I was at the 25th anniversary of my grad school's in creation. It's the MSIS program in Bloomington.
All right.
Okay. And when I went there, they're going through a lot because, new college grads, it's tough, right? It's hard to get like the same recruiting processes that used to get people big consulting jobs,
right.
Just aren't there. Like this, so in IU, as a university has had to deal with AI. Like they're at the forefront of it because they're putting a lot of knowledge workers out that aren't they have doctors, they have musicians, but like they also have business school. Right. Like business school. Think about the disruption there. Every single undergrad has to go through the same. Every single undergrad kid, regardless of major, has to take AI 101. Good. And they've developed a curriculum that is constantly evolving.
They're covering 3.5.
Yeah. So I guess they update this curriculum like all the time.
That's great. That's what they have to.
I know.
They have to. But maybe then
also they open sourced it. It's free.
Oh, that's great. So then hopefully what that does is that cascades down to the other things as well, where you actually have like a faster iteration on what we're learning, and we're not just sticking to these old ideas.
But the reason why I brought this up is that like literally in colleges and universities, they're teaching kids N8N.
Is that what it's called?
I think they call it.
No,
N8N.
it's not. No, it's not. No,
I
it's
haven't
not.
used this yet. What is it?
N8N.
Oh, bro.
It's an automation. So think of like, what would be the one that you pay for? Zapier.
Like
think of
Zapier.
It's a Zapier that doesn't suck.
Okay,
it's actually really it's great. I think the one that you found, and I can't remember the name of it now, but I set it up. Active Pieces. Active Pieces was better because it had a bunch of like the OAuth connections versus where N8N you had to like create like API keys for Google and shit.
I guess I just don't have like a lot of use cases for that in my life because I'm boring. Like I work and then like I don't.
But so so that's the thing is like the majority of us don't have any use cases, and I don't either. But I'm like I'm going to set this thing up and I'm going to do all this automation.
I used to be like that, and now I'm like I look at something and I'm like, should I spend time on that? Is there value?
This is what people are doing, and this is just this is why I got super bent out of shape about the black box thing.
Right,
is that people are doing this? They're going, okay, I used to get the CSV of the leads, and then I would upload them to the HubSpot, and then I would do the thing. I would do this multi-step process. Right. Now what they're doing is they're saying, okay, I want to extract the data. Then I want to ask OpenAI what it thinks about my data. Right. I want OpenAI to return some structured JSON to the next step. So basically they're adding unlimited intelligence into workflows.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But
how many do you set up that are just like not valuable?
I don't know. I mean,
a shit ton of them.
I mean, it's just an automation tool.
Yeah,
because knowledge is a commodity now, but like understanding isn't.
Right. Yeah.
But here's the one thing where for me, my entire workflow has changed, and meaning that again, I'm now 50, so I've got old ass workflows.
Oh, by the way, he turned 50 and didn't fucking tell anyone.
I snuck past the whole fucking thing. Nobody knew. It was great. But anyway, so I've got a lot of processes that are old, especially as ADHD. So setting up systems is absolutely critical, right? But now all of a sudden I've got Codex and I've connected and I just submitted and just been like connect all my things to it except for my email, but calendar, everything else. And so now Notion was the most important one that I've connected. And so I've actually gotten rid of HubSpot. I have now just a Notion CRM that I've set up, and I can be like, hey, when a new lead comes in from Netlify Forms, just automatically import it into my Notion thing. And it's just doing the marshaling. So N8N has no purpose for me anymore because I can just automate this. And that to me has been is kind of the most eye-opening thing, where the majority of time now I'm spending within this project-based chat interface where I'm like, oh, I just had this. So I take a photo of it and I go to my Nomi thing. I'm like, hey, track this in Nomi. And then it knows my API keys and knows all my things and it just go send my data into Nomi. And I'm just like, I don't know if I ever need to really leave this interface, and it's glorious. And so it has completely changed how I'm interacting. And then watching you guys actually both, because Codex doesn't have the remote desktop thing. So now all of a sudden I'm like, oh my God,
you're missing out
I can
on
get
that.
all to my project because it's coming. Like
I
OpenAI is
had
absolutely
one of my
doing
clients posted on the Slack like 2 days ago. They're like telling everyone in the organization about remote control.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, dude, this is like, I pulled I've already been using this. Like I couldn't hold myself back. You know what I mean?
That's one of those features I found. I was like, I'm going to keep this.
Exactly. I don't want anybody to know about this shit. It's so good.
There is nothing better than just having, I have Mac Mini, M4 Pro, blah, 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 that has tons of Claude code sessions running, all remote control. I was telling you that I was pissed off because I don't have any running right now.
Yeah, I always keep one, like when I leave my desk, like whatever one I'm on, I'm like.
And he'll just go to the same one and just be like, totally switch gears and like be like, hey, we're working on this different. So he just has like one open. I like that strategy.
Yeah, I'll be like, compact this conversation and forget about it.
Right.
But let's just move on.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have very long ongoing repo based ones.
I'm all project based. But so before we wrap this up, there's something that I did delve into earlier today that I want to just share with everybody who's listening to the podcast, because there's a lot of people who use Gemini that are out there and big Gemini fans. So I decided to go see if Gemini had a desktop application like Claude or like Codex or like Claude Desktop, and they do. And so I download the Mac application and it pops up. Because I'm blind, I blow up my screen a lot. And so for whatever reason, the fonts were huge when the application launched. And the privacy policy was very observant. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. I start scrolling through it and I'm like, oh my God, I will never be using Gemini. Gemini's and Google's practices. Gemini. So then I go to Codex. I'm like, hey, go look at Anthropic's, OpenAI, and Gemini's privacy policies. I want you to rank them with a score and break down all of the problems.
Yes.
And this is Codex, so this is OpenAI behind the scenes. Anthropic got like an 8.5 on their privacy. OpenAI got like a 7.5, and Gemini was like a 4. And Gemini is basically, they're taking everything that you do, even if you go and you say turn activity off, like that, all the information that you've ever given to them, which they automatically turned on, by the way, they will hold for 3 years. There's nothing you can do about it. They're training on your data. I mean, it is horrifying. So please go read the privacy policy of Gemini if you're a heavy user, and just really question if that's something that you want to do, because Google is just absolutely stealing everything and using it to train their shit.
In the last week, okay, in the last month, Google stock's up 25%.
Yes. Because they're stealing all your data on Gemini. So invest in Google, by the way, because the majority of people won't listen to this. And the majority of people will continue to use it. And models are going to be better because of it, because it's going to have everything in there where Anthropic's not doing it. OpenAI's not. OpenAI, they might sell some of your information to marketers, but you know.
Aren't Google and Anthropic doing one of those circular deals that is all
Yeah,
AI,
I'm
it's just
sure.
passing the money in a cycle?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. Well, hey, this was fun. I'm glad I love this kind of topic. This is my favorite kind of pod. So, Jason, appreciate you coming. And how can folks get in touch with you?
J Eggert at jeggert.com, jeggert.com.
Nice.
I have a LinkedIn. That's my only social media, though.
Good. Is your photo up to date? Because I'm going to be using that for the.
I actually had Claude put a collared shirt on me.
Nice. oh no. Okay, so before we dip, Claude now does have image generation.
Oh, it was ChatGPT. I was doing with that.
I did hear that Claude now has image generation. Has anybody confirmed this?
I haven't used it. I was using
curious.
ChatGPT in that because I was just like, I was job hunting recently, and I was just wearing like a t-shirt.
Dude.
But I still have a backwards hat
with
on.
with
a collared shirt on. Yeah.
But the new Image 2.0 from ChatGPT is amazing. Like, it really is a very capable image generation. And I'm kind of curious. I haven't played with Claude yet, but somebody who has paid Claude, go try it and see how well it works.
Nice.
There we go.
Well, cool.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, appreciate it. And we will see you guys 2 weeks from today. This has been the Big Cheese Podcast. We'll see you next time.
Later.